Hello everyone, my name is Katie. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be presenting on the topic of the ethical challenges of managing populations of white-tailed deer in North America. The white-tailed deer, or Autocoelius virginianus, has also been known as the white-tailed deer or the Virginia deer. This species is native to North, Central, and South America. The white-tailed deer is actually the most abundant and widespread herbivore throughout North America. Natural predators of this species include coyotes, wolves, and bobcats. This species is also known to be very adaptable, and they have become common in both suburban and urban areas. Over the past century, there has been a significant increase in deer populations throughout North America. Back in the early 1900s, it was estimated that there were about 500,000 deer throughout North America. Now, those numbers have increased exponentially and are estimated to be closer to 25 million. These increasing numbers of white-tailed deer can cause numerous issues, including plant and crop damage, property damage, increased transmission of Lyme disease, and they can also potentially have a detrimental effect on wildlife and ecosystems as a whole. The figure on the right shows the projected deer population growth in the next 10 years. There are multiple reasons for these increases. The main reasons include decreased hunting and elimination of natural predators. In many areas throughout North America, deer have exceeded biological and cultural carrying capacities. Currently, there are some regulations that have been associated with this issue or could potentially impact this issue in the future. Laws and regulations regarding hunting differ by state and determine where and when hunting can take place. Current hunting regulations may be deterring hunters and therefore helping to increase deer populations. Regulations may need to be modified so more hunting can take place to help control the deer population. The Endangered Species Act of 1973 established protections for threatened and endangered plants and wildlife. This could potentially apply to this issue because of the plants that could become threatened or endangered due to overconsumption by deer. The National Forest Management Act of 1976 established protections for natural ecosystems in forests. This could apply to this issue because of the overabundance of deer and how it can potentially upset natural ecosystems. When considering strategies of wildlife management, certain ethical dilemmas can arise. What are the most humane ways for us to intervene and control deer populations? Is it ethical for us to intervene at all? Lethal versus non-lethal management strategies have been a highly debated topic. Many think non-lethal options are more ethical. However, non-lethal methods like relocation can cause much stress, injuries, and even death to the animal. Culling through hunting and euthanasia may seem unethical, but these methods often provide quicker deaths, which are arguably more humane. Other methods include contraception, sterilization, physical barriers, and the introduction of deer-averse plants. Another ethical consideration that arises when discussing deer is human-wildlife conflict. Deer can cause issues for individuals, such as property damage or plant and crop damage. They can also cause an increased rate of vehicle collisions and other issues involving their overabundance in suburban and urban areas. In order to find an ethical solution, all of these considerations must be taken into account. This can help provide a solution that balances human interests with animal welfare. The first case study that I examined involved deer management in a residential community in Georgia in 1997. In this case study, lethal methods such as hunting and euthanasia were utilized. The results were successful in decreasing the deer population, and benefits and outcomes included protection and preservation of plant species, decreased property damage, and this was all done with relatively low economic impact. These methods used are arguably more humane because they provided quicker deaths for the animals. The table on the right shows the average cost to remove deer in this study. The second case study I examined involved the capture and relocation of deer in a Hilton Head community in 1999. In this case study, non-lethal methods were used. A capture and relocation strategy was tested as a potentially more humane method of population management. Unfortunately, the results showed that the project actually caused more death in the deer than the control group. In this case, this method was not proved to be more humane than traditional management practices, such as hunting. This is because the capture and relocation process caused much stress and even injuries to the animals that often resulted in death. Capture and relocation methods could potentially be modified in the future to be less stressful and damaging to deer. The issue of the overabundance of white-tailed deer could be improved by taking certain ethical approaches to finding ethical solutions. One approach could involve ecological ethics. Ecological ethics involves morals and responsibilities of humans to the earth and its creatures. This approach posits that humans have a moral responsibility to protect the environment and animals, and the environment and wildlife should be valued for their intrinsic worth. It also posits that we have a responsibility to preserve species and their habitats. An ecological ethics framework involves combining multiple domains of ethics, including deontology, care ethics, and utilitarianism. By utilizing multiple viewpoints, this could provide a well-rounded ethical solution to this issue. Another approach that could be taken to improve this issue would involve the 9 R's. The aspects of the 9 R's theory include refusal, replacement, reduction, refinement, and relaxation. The other 4 R's parallel the first 4 animal R's, but are about environmental research. This approach minimizes harm to animals while providing an effective solution to ethical dilemmas regarding wildlife research. It also determines the ethics of wildlife research practices as well as their outcomes. I believe that the best solution to this issue has not yet been found. From my own research, it seems that lethal methods may be the most effective and humane method of population control at this time. However, this topic requires further research. I propose that the government should fund research to find a more humane and non-lethal method of dealing with this issue. This could be achieved by utilizing an ethical framework involving ecological ethics and the 9 R's. Further research should be done on new contraception or sterilization methods that are more effective. This could potentially provide a more ethical and humane solution to the issue of the overabundance of white-tailed deer in North America. This concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. My references are listed on the next slide.